different attire for the Florida Keys. I think by the time this comes out, things have warmed up a lot. So I don't know how long behind I am on videos. But today I decided to, I tied on some bucktails, right? A couple people have said, do use a bucktail, right? What are you gonna lose? You're right, what am I gonna lose? It's a windy day, it's a throwaway day, let me learn some tricks. One trap I almost walked into, and this is probably the end of me, thinking I gotta be a little more careful. Apparently when I was talking to FWC yesterday, I kind of remembered that. So if I decide to tip these bucktails with bait and fish the other side of this US 1 bridge, that's considered the Gulf side, if I understood him correctly. And that means I can't tip with a bucktail with bait without a circle hook. So I kind of remembered that. Then, I was like, oh yeah, fish a squid strip on a bucktail. This is done in many places in the coast, but now that's considered a natural bait. However, stuff like gulp and procure, all those things are considered packaged or manufactured baits. Man, sometimes, like lots of things in life, you want to be a lawyer. I do see a skitter walk up there, right? Do you see that? I think that's a skitter walk. Should I try to get it? Yeah, let's give it a shot. It's lodged in there pretty good though. Oh well, I'll leave it for somebody else. Apparently, they knew how to fish topwater better than me. So I really also want to just put out one more disclaimer. These uncut videos are like the most casual version of me. If you want edited stuff what I've done over the years, there's like 500 videos of snapper, just everything else. Like this is like me going into a low stress mode of fishing like a person just going out to fish and have fun in areas that are suitable for 4 hours of just chilling out, right? So it's a different type of video. Edited content and unedited content are not the same thing. Just that's all I really want to put in. This is entertainment first, and it's what it should be. But I'm having a good time out here, and I'll tell the stories I've got and where life has brought me and all that stuff. And I'm going to try my best to catch fish, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, it's not edited content, right? So things happen, it might happen over a long period of time. And just like anything, I'm trying a lot of new spots. And you know what? If it's mediocre, I don't really care. It seems like people are enjoying whatever learning process I have to offer, and I guess putting myself out there is vulnerable. So that was a longer introduction than I think I wanted to really get going here before starting fishing. So I apologize for that. So, all right. So the best part is you can always just tip a bucktail with these gulp baits. And there's so many types. I got rid of that Daiwa Certate. I know it was very noisy. I was hesitant to get rid of it because it was like a $500 reel, and I really liked how it felt out of the package, right? But it didn't hold up, and it was very hard to watch. The line roller bearing was seized up. I couldn't access it. I was going to have to wait a very long time to get that part. So I put it up on Patreon for 150 bucks, and somebody snatched it up the other night. So I went out and bought myself a Shimano Stratic again. I've fished these before. We'll see. I can probably have this last 4 to 6 months at 200 bucks. So I do own some pens. Everyone says go back to fishing a pen. The problem with the pen is maybe I'll hire you to show me how to fish a 1/4 ounce jig with it for a full day and not deal with bird's nests and get nice accurate casts out of it, because that seems to be my problem with pens. I do like a pen reel, but not the best at casting it. So I'm throwing a bucktail. Let's do this for 1 hour, right? Just hops. Maybe I gotta slow it down. I'm reading too much into critiques lately of all the techniques I'm not doing right, so I'm gonna go slower then, because apparently I work my jigs too aggressively. Right, so I'm on the bottom. I feel like I'm starting over fishing right now. Gotta make sure I'm on the bottom. This is only 8 feet of water, so you get down pretty quick. And I'm casting towards these pilings, and I hope we're gonna hook something. Today I do have my live well behind me. If fishing's slow, Gonna try to catch some small grunts or maybe a pinfish up shallower. That's the move. Yeah, a little bucktail action. Hope it catches something here. Might have to, yeah. You know, I was joking around, and I think in another video, or maybe one that I skunked out on, I think I skunked out the other day, and I was like, you know what, I think I should hire, you know, a kayak guide to show me what to do, because I have no clue, obviously. So, but that's the fun of it, right? And I think that's why a lot of people are enjoying a lot of these videos. It's, you know, somebody who really has no idea, but still is trying, and is also kind of putting out that information. So anyway, throwing that bucktail here for sunrise. I picked sunrise today because we're supposed to get an outgoing tide. The outgoing should be cleaner than the incoming, which I still have a little bit of here. But the thing I'm really looking at for the, to get that clean water coming out, is that incoming tide after all this cold weather, it's probably going to be really dirty, and it's not very clear right now. I haven't had a bite on this bucktail yet, though. There is some deeper water than I am currently fishing, though. Maybe I need to go to that. That gulp did fall off there, though. I don't know if maybe I should just skip it and go with some scent. Got this Procure mullet. Let's just try that instead. I think this bucktail weighs a 1/4 ounce. It's made by 43-2 Fishing. It's a local guy in North Carolina. The bucktail concept is that these hairs flare up. I've always fished them with some bait or some gulp on them, but I was told fish them naked in the Florida Keys for better results. I mean, and especially since I can't legally put a piece of bait on the minute I go under this bridge here, so I'm gonna fish them naked for an hour, see what we catch. Pretty nice morning. This is far nicer than the forecast kind of led on for today. I think we're gonna get some serious northeast winds today, though. So yeah, let's see how the Stratic holds up. I've had a Stratic before in the past. I don't know if I had this exact model. I had like the old Stratics, which I really liked. So how do you know you're on the bottom? you can count to 5, but usually you'll feel a pretty distinct tick. You're on the bottom. So when you're in 8 feet of water, it doesn't take very long. Maybe 10 feet here. I'm definitely on the bottom now, and I think this is it. Let's get into chilling. I'm gonna find some fish somewhere here. I hope, you know, I caught the other day. I spent 4 hours out here, not on the bridges, in the back country. I got one red drum, 22 inches, and not much else. I had a very long day of looking around. But yeah, one red drum was my catch for the day. I'm hoping today we'll get a lot more action. So all right. Oh, I lost him. Very slow on the bottom there, whatever that was. This water's not very clear. I don't know how well that's coming out on camera. When you fish these bucktails, do you bounce them on the bottom, or are you really casting them more? I've always kind of done better casting around the Keys, but like I said, I'm hiring you as my guides today. I've been doing a lot of wrong things, so my confidence went from let me goof around, do what I do, to like, you're doing it all wrong, you goober, head back to North Carolina, New York, or wherever you're from. And now I'm like, okay, what am I doing? Am I doing this right anymore? Ooh. 2 bites. Very soft though. The bucktail. Do want to keep 1 or 2 mangroves today though. That part I know. I did have 2 bites, so use your error. Those limp wrists are no good. Gotta get back to the gym. Alright, come on. Who's in there? So yeah, I think if I tipped it with a piece of bait here, that would be considered illegal. And I think I kind of giggled at the fact there might be a FWC officer watching 4 hours of unedited content of mine. I did have a little giggle of that. It's probably either his worst day or his best day of the week. Depends on his perspective, right? If he's like, I like these long videos, I get to chill out, drink some coffee and wait for him to do something illegal. Or like, oh man, I gotta watch 4 hours of this stuff for the day. But if I go out on the Atlantic side, I could do that, the tipping of the bait and all that stuff, but I got real shallow here. All right, maybe I gotta do a couple more. Maybe this is illegal and I have no idea. Do you think I'd get a ticket for using Procure? I think this is considered a manufactured bait, right? Even though it's made from natural stuff, it's ground up and processed, and it's not like a regular bait frozen in its whole form. I do remember looking at all that legal stuff years back, because there's excise tax on lures and manufactured fishing products. So I think that does not fall under the natural bait category, because natural baits don't have to pay excise tax, right? So if you're selling blocks of frozen squid to bait shops and stuff like that, there's no excise tax on that. But like lures and stuff that are some really small fish there, I don't know what those are. Yeah, like lures and stuff like that, there's an excise tax, right? ISV Fishing pays excise tax for his lure manufacturing. I don't know, man. Sorry, I'm not very good at this, I know. We're 10 minutes in and we haven't had a bite on a fresh morning. The bucktail. Definitely starting to lose confidence right away. Oh, we had 2 bites rather, I'm sorry. Haven't put anything in the kayak yet though. Fish is that? Sweet. It's Key West grunt. These guys are pretty aggressive fish. I like bucktails for flounder. Like that's one of my favorite flounder baits for sure. Just fishing a bucktail or generally a bucktail and the gulp combination is one of the best flounder baits. If you're old school, use a piece of spearing or squid or something like that. A lot of the newer school anglers are using gulp. You know, gulp is definitely for flounder one of the better flounder baits out there. There's other alternatives these days though. But here I don't know enough, so when you don't have confidence fishing, right, you're kind of going by what people tell you to do. And then you're like, am I doing this right? I mean, I have a small metric, I guess, right? Like I've been catching some, 15 to 19 inch, 20 inch or so mangrove snappers in a lot of places. So I've been catching some better sized mangroves. And when I'm going after those muttons, you know, I think like two keepers is a good day for me. And, you know, occasionally I'm getting like a high 20-inch fish. That's really all I know. Maybe an occasional grouper I'm getting. A couple other bites every now and then. Not really figuring this out too much though. My bucktailing technique is not good here. So my jig's definitely getting to the bottom. We're very close to it at least. I do feel that. Wonder if there's been any fish kills here. Have you guys had any fish kills where you live from this cold blast? North Carolina closed its speckled trout season through June, and then it's got a closed flounder season. And it's going to be tough going home and trying to figure out what to fish for. I'm going to be targeting bowfin all spring, and just, you know, something to keep out of the way. You know, one of the things about these kind of unedited videos, which I enjoy doing, is really picking spots where there's not anyone fishing. Because honestly, at the end of the day, I'm pretty much, I wouldn't say they're lousy, but, you know, they're not prime spots for much. So, yeah, definitely avoiding crowded areas. Okay, I'm doing something wrong. Maybe my bucktail's no good. It's got a nice, you know, darting motion. I feel like I should be getting more bites. I'll try this again with the gulp. These sandworms are very fragile though. They're not very sturdy on a hook. It seems like they break apart pretty easily. I need you guys watching to be my guides. Tell me your day rate. Will you teach me how to catch a fish for 200 bucks a day? 200 bucks a day to watch? Be my on the water guide out here? So we put that gulp sandworm on there. Let's see if we do a little bit better. All right, we're on the bottom. You know the drill. 8 feet of water. We had a little junk fish bite, I think. Can't believe we're like a heavy sweater today. I think we had nights in the 50s. Man, I came out yesterday when I had the red drum and I went in a couple of the backcountry spots. I was in a sweater almost the whole day, and I got run off the water. I got so cold, like we didn't get any sunlight. Yesterday the sun came out for the first day, and today one kayaker told me they had a permit and a couple keeper mutton snappers. So it was like, yesterday in the wind, I was like, wow. Yeah, I'm kind of a gullible dude when I hear first-hand fishing reports though, so. I was like, really? Oh no. That gulp does have some scent on it, right? That's what you're looking for. I haven't fished bucktails much in the last few years though, so I'm also feeling a little, this was definitely a bait or a lure I grew up fishing, but I've kind of moved off of them, honestly. I'm not too sure why. I think I just became a soft plastic junkie. But the thing is, when you get older, you really just start, you build up like 3-4 confidence techniques for baits, and then you kind of stick with them, right? Like, you're a top water guy, you're a bait guy, I think at this point I'm a jig guy, and it's like, and although a bucktail is definitely a jig, but at the same time, it's, you know, I'm not relying on too much action from them, so I'm always kind of like, I don't know, it's one of those things like most soft plastics and other jigs, you can kind of fish them any way, right? Even though there's superior ways. The Stratix is feeling pretty good. I have that 20-pound Suffix 832 on there. This is the Jigging World custom rod. I'm going to start on this side of the bridge and work my way back up then. It's kind of hard to judge what to do, especially early in the morning. I'm tempted to try to catch some small fish, like some small grunts and pinfish, and put them out there on the live bait rod. See what we can catch doing that. You know, if we get some sharks, so be it. All right, so we only had a couple bites up shallower there. Deeper, sorry. We've moved far down, a little bit further down than we were earlier to start. So let's see what we got. I walked the bridges yesterday, Long Key, you know, all the big popular bridges. Walked around them just to see what the bite was going to be like after all that cold weather. So I kind of walked around and I was like, I didn't see much, honestly. I saw some small jack crevalles and a couple of small yellowtail snapper, a couple mangroves, like, you know, 10, 11 inches. So there's definitely a little bit of, you know, fish biting out there. So it was still nice to see, I think. What is that? Yeah, I saw a couple jacks about this size coming out of the land-based guys too. So I saw a lot of, definitely saw a lot of interesting things by foot. I do love a good, you know, most guys keep everything they catch, and yeah, I kind of get that. If you need to feed yourself and not be out here for giggles, yeah. So that's all I guys keeping those jack crevalles. So I don't know. I never tried one. I don't have too much interest. You know, the thing is, I only have to feed myself, so I get a little selective. What I'm, you know, right now, my wife's coming into town. Yeah, at some point I'll be feeding her too, right? This is such a cool structure to fish, though. So I kind of want, you know, one of the things I want to try to do too is there are some sheep's head. When you get to walk on the bridges, you'll occasionally see a sheep's head or two. Is my lens foggy? No, we're good. I'll sometimes see a couple of those sheep's head, and I have a hard time finding bait here in the Keys for sheep's head. It's not like it's a fish I'm jumping over myself to target around here, but what I kind of want to do with that is, you know, especially in these colder days when the water is still not really at a great temperature and the fish aren't biting very well, sheep's head would be a fun thing to do for a day. I saw my buddy Justin got a pretty nice black drum too. Like, that kind of stuff is, those cold water fish are far more reliable in that 60-degree temperature range versus trying to target the snappers. A lot of them, some of them don't like it that cold, or they'll get moody, etc. Pretty chilly out here, though. I doubt we'll see anyone today after how cold it's been. Like, it's been pretty quiet on the people out fishing and doing stuff, though. I haven't seen much of that this year. But it depends where you live, too, you know. I've said that before. Some places the crowds haven't subsided one bit. Other places are pretty empty. Compared to the last 2-3 years, Keys has been pretty quiet. I mean, still busy, but I wouldn't say it's like what it was 2 years ago. No way. Ooh, I think I might have had a fish just sitting on it. It's real tight there. Yeah, I did. That gulp is gone. Maybe that gulp's a liability though, and I just don't realize it. It's really shallow here, 6 feet or so. I don't know if I have a favorite scent of this stuff, but it seems like blue crab, mullet, menhaden, kind of the classic staples. I've never really used like the funky ones that Procure makes, like flounder pounder, but it doesn't stay on for very many casts. And they got that Dr. Juice stuff by Salt Strong, and I haven't really had too much luck with that, honestly. Oh man, I'm losing confidence in bucktail already. I don't know. Don't know. Maybe I need to give it more time. All right. Gotta lay some rods down. Well, it's not as bad as that other video I did, right? I mean, to me right now, they're all terribly bad, right? Especially as I'm trying other techniques I'm just not that familiar with, where I'm not confident in. Alright, I'm gonna take this off, man. I'm feeling very, very humbled right now. I can't catch a fish on a bucktail. Let's see what other kinds of shapes and sizes we have in for that. This is kind of more the traditional one, right? It's pretty strong. See that pelican? He's like, it's pretty crazy to see the stuff like trying to warm up in this weather right now. I typically just go with a 4-turn uni knot as my leader, my knot of choice for quick tying. As you're getting blown around in the wind on a plastic boat. Oh man, so I gotta give it, so there's definitely like channel recommendations I gotta give, like, so if you really want to learn how to fish the Florida Keys, there's Key West kayak fishing, right? Like, he knows far more than, you know, you look at his videos, he's a lot of it's confidence for sure, which I have zero of, but that guy knows the Florida Keys. Me, this is like, okay, let's try and be a goober every time. Okay, where's this other stuff here? This is a gulp. Yeah, let's put that on. So I'm trying to change the bucktail shape, change the weight. I went up to a 1/2 ounce so we can really pound sand with it, right? I was always taught you want to go as light as possible, but as I said, I've been proven wrong quite a bit lately, and the confidence isn't here today. I wonder if there's even any like sharks around or anything after that. I think that, you know, my temperature gauge is broken on my fish finder. It says it's 152 degree water. We know that's not true, but I'm thinking it's in the mid 60s right now, so like 65 would be my guess. There isn't too much junk today, thankfully. Another thing I don't know too much is like, are snapper an early morning fish like a lot of other predators? I'm guessing jacks and tarpon for sure are, but yeah, snapper, I'm not too sure. I'm not going to post a 4-hour video of me getting skunked, even if it's just to see if FWC, maybe I'll do something illegal 3.5 hours in for FWC to see if they're going to watch the whole thing. And you think that, I know they have a small division of people like check social media. I don't know if North Carolina has that or other states, but FWC definitely has their hands full. Like there's plenty of the, like the meme pages. You ever look at some of the meme pages that crop up every now and then on Instagram or Facebook of like an angler? I'm sure I'm on them every week. So I'm on the bottom, like I feel it, definitely hitting bottom. It's 6 feet, this is a 1/2 ounce bucktail. I'm on the bottom pretty much instantly. There we go. Oh, sorry, mutton. It's a mutton snapper. So the lane snappers have those yellow colors. That's a mutton snapper. I saw somebody with a grocery bag full of those yesterday, of the mutton snappers that size. Apparently poaching is a big problem here in the Keys from what I understand. Shouldn't be laughing about it. It's probably kind of sad for people who've been fishing here far longer than I have. I've only been coming here 7-8 years, and to me, I'm just enjoying the fact that I have, just a lot of water to fish. That's really one of the main draws to me about the Florida Keys. It's just tons of water, but I do know, areas do get poached really hard sometimes here. From FWC, I've heard it. From other anglers tell me there's absolutely a lot of poaching that goes on here, and that's, it's kind of sad. Okay, I don't know if I'm an hour into this, and I'm really sorry that this is terrible. I'm not too sure. I had something was laying on it there. Another bridge not too far down. It's maybe a 1/2 mile run. I can give that a go. Usually find they're pretty similar though, all these bridges. This is one of those things, you need a boat, anchor, chum, live well full of pilchards, boom, you're on them. This kayak stuff it's kind of a toy. Stratic's pretty nice. I haven't fished one of these in a while. Definitely doesn't feel as buttery as the Certate did out of the box, but the good thing about the Stratic is you can do a lot of your own maintenance on it with reasonable ease. Let's see what kind of fish this is. Some of these smaller muttons seem to be out. I'm waiting for weather to go after the bigger ones, right? Should have some pretty good days of weather to get after those larger muttons this week, so I'm excited about that because it's my favorite fish to go after. So far, at least. You know, the winter months, at least. I've definitely enjoyed going after them. Catch them trolling, jigging. Yeah, they're definitely fun ones to target. I gotta try for a king mackerel too. That's another one we gotta go after. I haven't caught a king. I've never landed a king mackerel in the Keys. I've only hooked one. I lost him. That one, I'll never forget that because I really didn't think about that being a possibility for my day of fishing that one time. So that was about 2 miles out. So I don't know how close the king mackerel really come in on the regular in the winter. It's probably about bait more than anything. If there's schools of bait around, those king mackerel will probably come in pretty close. We still have our tail there, yeah. King mackerel, Cero mackerel are fun. I kind of like going after those things too. I've only caught a few. Honestly, it's just fun to go out like on that first ledge and catch a bunch of different fish, like jacks, and it's all fun. Man, that thing didn't fight at all. You know that water's kind of cold then, probably, huh? It's interesting though. Strike's got a very weird sounding drag though. You hear that? It's like very subtle. All right, the bucktail's got it. The goober has caught with the bucktail for the day. See, that fish actually, I wasn't even on the bottom when I got this one, so, you know, they like to hit on the drop quite often if you're quick enough, I think. This is a mangrove snapper. Just about 15 inches. Do need some fish today. So, I realize this is a small one. Sometimes I say they're nice. Now I'm starting to realize they're small. 15 inches is pretty standard, so sorry that I consider this a large one. But we'll work on trying to catch that 25-incher someday. But 15's not bad to start. I don't know. You tell me, do you consider a 15-inch mangrove a small mangrove snapper, or is that considered a larger one? Or a decent one, rather? Like, do you throw this back? Like, because that... yeah, I don't know anymore. I'm losing confidence. Somebody's like, what are you doing, Elias? You just go fish and don't worry about what everybody's telling you these days. I'm interacting with a lot more people lately, so... Moral of the story is I should never interact with people because then I get in my own head too much. I should go back to... I unfortunately logged into Facebook, right? The first time in like forever. The moral, yeah, after logging into Facebook, you know, my brain's all jacked up. So, all right, thanks, First Mangrove. One of the things that's important too to keep in mind, it looks like I'm keeping fish every trip. You know, I was sitting at home for 4 days, so I haven't eaten fish in, you know, several days. Okay, so if you get one of these Old Town EPDLs, every now and then you get this error 23, and it has something to do with engaging this motor too quickly. I hope next year, I'm sorry, 2025, this year rather, we're going to get a new version of this, because this is an awesome kayak. I'd love to see a new hull for this kayak coming out this year, because if you can get a new hull, like maybe one that's a little lower to the water, yeah, I'd be really excited about that. Let's see if we spread our camera there. Sorry if I did. Yeah, this kayak's, I've been really happy with it. I know it's not really a kayak to most people's eyes. It's now like some kind of, you know, fun little hybrid of a kayak and a it's a personal watercraft necessarily, but you know, half boat, half kayak. You know, just buy a boat instead is definitely a good argument. But I like fishing from it still. Like the controls. I was talking with my buddy Nate last summer. I feel like in the future we'll have like Professor X, like a little round ball to control your kayaks with in the future. I think that'd be really cool. Kind of just like you sit around and almost playing like a game. Yeah, I don't really care that much for spot lock. Everybody's very obsessed with spot lock. I don't think there are times when it's nice, don't get me wrong, but to me it's not a deal breaker. Yeah, even over here, it's like, it's spot lock. I prefer just having that manual control as opposed to like busting out a remote and constantly fiddling with it. I didn't love that personally. I don't know. Everybody's different. But I've been on a kayak for, I don't know, 20 years now. So I'm kind of used to the feel of moving around on a kayak versus, you know, going with the electronic side of things. But, you know, the electronic side of things is, yeah, you can get pretty comfortable and it's a little easier to bust out a couple beers and all that stuff. So you got that's important too, right? Let's see how fish this is. This feels like a jack to me. It sure is. Get that, like that little bit of that washed out color when it gets colder too. Like maybe they're under some stress. You ever notice that some fish, when it gets really cold, develop seriously pale colors? Red drum especially like to do that. When they're on the winter sand, they get really white and silvery. Look nothing like a red drum in the summer. All right, are my haters convinced I'm not on bottom as I pulled up that piece of coral there? All right, I'm done. I'm sorry. Like I said, stay off Facebook, Elias. What a goober move of me to go on Facebook. Gotta get off the comments section. Gotta get off Facebook. I'm having too much fun, and then it's like, oh, let's see what my interactions are like these days. I'm trying to come up with a blueprint for the year of where to fish. So I'm definitely going to go to the Chesapeake Bay. Right. North Carolina, man, I don't know what to do about that, man. I almost feel like I shouldn't be going fishing in North Carolina anymore because, you know, Flounder's going to be closed through June. Speckled Trout's going to be closed through June. Sorry, Flounder might be closed all year, never mind through June. So I kind of want to just, you know, it's pretty much... You know, red drum's going to be the only thing you can go after, and sheepshead. It's red drum and sheepshead. So I don't know. I'm hoping the Outer Banks gets that run of big bluefish this year. I really enjoyed doing that last year, so I'll do that. You know, if those big bluefish show up again in the Outer Banks. But yeah, it's going to be like, you know, come back. You know, maybe these Keys videos will last through March, and after that, where are we going to go? I don't know. Maybe a striper run I'll do a day or two, but you know, I kind of get bored of the stripers after a couple days. It's fun, but I don't know, a few days of it and I'm kind of like, I want to do something with a little more craziness. Maybe I'll just come back to the Keys for grouper season or something. I don't know. The Keys prices, I mean, they're still high, right, for most people. But last night I was looking at what I could get in Long Island for the spring or summer. My goodness, it was like $200 a night I input, and the best thing I could find was a basement. That's all I'm going to get is a basement in the Long Island area. It was definitely it was very discouraging what I saw there out in Long Island for what I can get. So I don't know what our fishing plans are going to be. Maybe we do a lot more freshwater. I do want to do more freshwater. The only problem is it's hard to transition from saltwater to freshwater and pay bills, unfortunately. It's the reality I have to deal with. But maybe now that we're watching me drink beers on the kayak as opposed to, sick edit, bro. Maybe that's going to do it. I don't know. That's the goal, right? I got to get the sick edit comment. One of these days, I'd love to see somebody comment sick edit. I think I've done like one or two, edited videos before like that, and somebody's commented sick edit. Anyway, I'm definitely enjoying. One of the things that definitely happens now, though, is I'm getting a lot more time on the water now that I'm not behind a computer. I like that exchange, right? And I think that does put me in a better mood if I'm not behind a computer. I think this Bucktail is maybe my last cast tackle. It's one of these Amazon brands. It's maybe 3/8 of an ounce, so it's getting down there. It's either a half ounce or 3/8 of an ounce. And this tide's pretty slow, if you noticed, because I'm getting into these tubes pretty quickly. Might have been that slow build of a bite getting started, though. Or is it the style of bucktail? That's going to be an interesting question to really say why I didn't get too many bites earlier. I guarantee you at some point I'm going to lose this bucktail, right? And then we're going to have to go to a heavier one. I mean, one of the other styles. So these are all jacks here. Okay. Full day bucktail. Slow burn. Here we are. So as soon as that bucktail's getting torn up there a little bit, so as soon as this gulp bait gets kind of threaded up the hook, you always kind of want to re-thread it back down a little bit. You know what I actually used to catch when I throw a bucktail in North Carolina a lot? You catch a lot of pufferfish on them. Pufferfish and triggerfish both really like bucktails. Oh man, there's something there. Somebody got that gulp. So it says freshwater. When you go in the store and you see these gulps, I don't think there's a difference, man. Maybe there is, but I don't think so. What I like about these 3-inch emerald shiners, not this color rather, the 3-inch minnow, emerald shiner is the name of the color. The good thing about these is they're very good value. Good value bucktail. I mean, gulp. We all know I pinch pennies on the water. So yeah, after I speaking of pinchy pennies and getting frustrated, after dumping the dial with Certate, I think that Certate lasted 3-4 months before we had one screw seize up, and people are going to hear it in their nightmares. I hear that dial with Certate in my sleep already. I brought my Shimano Vanford out in the water, and immediately the screw that goes into the line roller split apart from the head of the screw split apart, and the line roller just went. It exploded on me pretty much. So Yeah, I break a lot of stuff out here in the Keys, man, but it's also because I'm fishing very hard. But like, I wouldn't be able to throw a Penn spin fisher into these tubes with this light braid and not, you know, tangle up. And those reels are heavy. It's gonna hurt. I'm gonna be not hurt, but I'm gonna feel that fatigue pretty quickly. Like, yeah, you see my pants flying in the wind there. We got to give a shout out to DJI making these new microphones, because yeah, it's windy. All right, we hit this and, you know, threw our bucktails at that for a minute. Let's get up on this side of the bridge. Maybe we'll be a little bit more out of the wind. Oop, got a small fish there. Get a little bit more out of the wind up here. So hang on. That wind's kicking up. It was really mild when I launched this morning. Now it's really coming down the pipe like as forecasted, unfortunately. But we should have a little bit better protection on this side of the bridge. But the best thing is the rest of this week, you know, it looks really good. I'm gonna stay away from the bridges, I promise. Maybe I'll go to Bahia Honda for a day. The good thing, I think, after this cold weather, might have a chance at Bahia Honda and being relatively shark-free. You know, generally after a lot of these cold fronts, there's still a few sharks around, but the overwhelming numbers do sometimes, they'll push back into the Gulf. I think that's what I've been told, that if you get like a really good cold snap, you know, the fishing might be slow, which is fine, but I don't have to, you know, pack diapers in my kayak really. Those sharks are they're scary. Whew. It's cold out, man. I haven't seen any snooks since this cold snap, man. I went looking for them in a couple. Ooh, that's always a big no-no. So that's Guggen thing number one is, you know, a scale on your hook point. That's it. Yeah, I haven't seen any snooks since that cold snap. I was looking and haven't found any of those. Saw a few smaller juvenile tarpon here and there. And I've caught a few of them, but man, it's a tough thing to do for a full day and really stay on them for more than one or two bites sometimes. I wonder when this tide's gonna flip. Woo, man. Been last couple days sitting home, been catching up on South Park. Yeah, instead of being behind a desk editing, I'm now watching TV again, which I don't mind. I was catching up on some South Park and watched the second Joker. I liked the first Joker. The second one was like, oh man, it was so weird. A lot of people didn't like it. I didn't think it was as bad as I was expecting to see, but it still wasn't very good. I'd say it was, yeah, like I said, it wasn't as bad as I was thinking it was going to end up being. What else we catch up on? We got a couple of new TV shows apparently we got to watch too on the to-do list. Wife and I have been watching Silo. We got to catch up on that. It was a pretty good show. I read the books years back when I used to commute. I definitely used to read a lot when I had long commutes. on the train. Now I stopped reading the last. I kind of miss reading. I do. I don't know if my brain is settled enough for it these days though. You know, when you work for somebody else and you got like a long commute and you're just sitting there going through the motions, definitely reading was an easy escape. Probably be a good idea if I start reading again now, because you know, being a business owner, it's always an email. You know, if somebody needs an order out, something this. You know, brain doesn't get too much time to really unwind these days. Because I'm always planning, rigging, doing these other things. You know, talking with people about fishing. You know, because you know, a lot of anglers, you're in a circle of other anglers, and you're always talking with each other, like what's biting, where you're fishing, how's the bite been. You know, because my network of anglers is maybe like 5-6 guys that I really talk to regularly. I would say, like guys that I trust and trust me to blow up their spots. But you know, it's like 5-6 of us really talk, and we're very tight about, you know, fishing. You know, as you fish, you know, let's say you're kind of new to fishing, you know, it's always good to get into like a group where you guys can learn from each other, or whatever it ends up being. Connect on that end, because you know, angling it's always a learning experience, right? So finding somebody who wants to fish with you and is pretty good at it, at least at your skill level. So for me, I'm picking low level kayak goobers. But yeah, we kind of always talk and get an idea of what's going on. And me, I don't, you know, I'm not really staying put too long in fishing zones, right? Like I'll fish somewhere and then I won't fish there for a month, or I'm targeting new fish pretty often. So I'm always kind of a short attention span angling, right? Another scale. So yeah, so I kind of always, you know, talk to a small group that we bounce back our days with each other pretty often. But it always helps to get into a small network of anglers. Surf casters are very, you know, are big on networks, but most of them are pretty tight-lipped about what they're doing. The kayak guys are, you know, somewhere in between sometimes. And then, you know, boat guys are probably the largest network that you can probably get with and talk with and get ideas to fish with. You know, always boat guys, especially the offshore guys, you always want somebody around as backup. You never know what can happen 30, 40 miles out, so you always kind of got a little crew on that end too, right? I do enjoy fishing alone a lot more. I mean, I don't mind fishing with people, but I'm enjoying this, right? Like this new format, because fishing alone, being a weirdo, talking to myself. I'll be living on that boat in 3 years if this keeps up, you know that. I'm just gonna be like, what are you doing? That's Elias. He lives there. He's a streamer. Never thought I'd say that in my life, but yeah, this type of fishing is a bit closer to live streaming, right? I'm not getting too many bites back here. I think what I want to do though is get back on the other side of this bridge. Do one more loop around with this bucktail. We go over the next bridge. It is bumpy though. My desire to transport myself a half mile in any kind of lump is pretty low. Do you think this is Jack charging me right now? Oh, that's a better mutton. Still short, but you know, I've caught a lot of like those 26-inch muttons last year in 8 feet of water. I think it was like mid-February though. So you never know when one of those nicer muttons can kind of show up. They strike me as a fish that covers a lot of water. Like they don't seem like a very stationary fish for the most part. They seem like they're pretty much moving pretty frequently. But the key is to get a nice quick presentation out of them and you get a nice reaction strike. At least if you're throwing lures. The gulp minnow's holding on pretty good though. We yellow jacks today, huh? I was expecting. They're kind of unpredictable. Those yellow jacks. Some years there's tons of them. Some spots here. This area's been holding them like sporadically. I still can't believe that one I caught in the backcountry like that the other week. That was like so cool to me. Yeah, I'm cold. I think the grunts are gone. I had a grunt bite in a little while. I think maybe that was finally the first grunt. All right, let's do one more loop up and down the bridge, right? That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I don't got too many options. I guess we could see how the Atlantic side looks, and then maybe we'll transport ourselves over to the next bridge over. The idea of getting, doing that run always kind of like, I'm always like okay, I don't know if I can clear this. I cleared it that one time, but it feels like the tide is much higher up today at this point. Maybe I'd clear that. So that gives you an idea. Clearance is about 7 feet. So yeah, you can use the barnacles off these bridge pilings for sheep's head. In general, I wonder if the mangrove snapper will eat them though. Because how did I do that? Those tangles that happen like that are always like the most mysterious thing. Man, I like to warm up. I think everyone's like, you're giggling at home that I'm saying I'm cold. It's quite nippy out here. So yeah, we're gonna do one run up the bridge this side again with more of the Smiling Bill style bucktail. Not Smiling Bill, it's more like teardrop. I know the real bucktail guys have their terms for all these. So I don't know the exact name of this style. I always consider this kind of like a flounder or fluke bucktail, right? I was throwing the banana shaped one at first, and now we're on this style. Oh, it's much warmer in the sun back here. Oh, that feels very, very much like how I'd like the keys to feel. That's a dream back there. I don't know. I don't want to go to that other bridge now. I'm looking at it. It's capping kind of good over there. I'm not down for that run. We'll do a full video another day at that other bridge. So, I think I found the bottom. I think I found it. Water seems to be clearing up a little bit. Mango. So what's up with that variation of the black spots that some of them occasionally have? I only see it on the smaller ones too in general. I don't see the larger ones ever having those little black specks. Just kind of curious. It's going to be the first winter people are going to be talking about in a few years, though. Now I'm really thinking about it, though. We got like 5 inches of snow by my house. You know, the Pensacola guys got, you know, their once-in-a-lifetime amount of snow. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Fish kills are going to be pretty good by the time you know, this one uploads. See how many. Hopefully it's not too bad for the drum. Speckled trout we know are in trouble in North Carolina and other places, but yeah. I've seen like 1 or 2 dead barracudas, but like the little ones, those guys do seem susceptible to cold shock around here. I haven't seen any snook here, but I'm sure those guys further north haven't had a kill of those in a little bit. But 2011, I think, was the last big fish kill. It's kind of a natural thing that happens every now and then. It's, you know, it's definitely kind of a bummer when it does happen to, you know, your favorite fish or whatever it is. This is a little bit of a deeper cut here. So what should we do tomorrow? Should we focus on tomorrow I want to do my first uncut like patch reef or ocean trip. Right, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna make sure I do it like for a full 4 hours. I wonder, should I try trolling uncut? I don't know if trolling is gonna be that enjoyable, because trolling I'll definitely have a decent bite of fish. Or should I just really stick to like the jigging and throwing at the rocks? I don't know. No bites there. Okay. Good combo, man. Go ahead, I tried the bucktail today. Yeah, there's definitely some like 10, 15 foot stuff out there. You can always goof around and try too. Oh no, we hit the bridge. That's the worst. Every time you whack the bridge, you feel embarrassed. I feel like somebody's, you know, standing next to me, you know, giggling every time I smack that bridge. What is that? What is that? Oh, wow, that's a pretty large one. Smack the bridge with a Key West grunt. Day of the bucktail. Guys, talking up this bucktail, man. I think the fishing's decent so far now. Whoa. Yeah, that's cool. What is that? What is that? I don't know. What is that? Is that a hogfish? Oh, get out of here. Yeah. Oh, man. Look at that. I'm actually kind of happy I got that on camera here. That's a sheep's head. It's my first Florida Keys sheep's head. Thanks, Bucktail, man. Should I keep a sheep's head? I eat sheep's head so much in North Carolina. I feel like this is the last fish I want to keep. Oh man. All right, there you go. That's my first Florida Keys sheep's head. They are good to eat. Sorry. They are very good to eat. I eat a lot of sheep's head in North Carolina, so I'm like, eh. So that was cool. Oh, right. Yeah, it's a reason I just am not too excited about eating one here. You'll have your full fill of sheep's head uncut videos at some point. That's where my that's like the primary bottom fish where I live. Sheep's head fishing in North Carolina is really good in my opinion. It's not like kind of good, I think it's very good. Cool, got a sheep's head on a gulp. Gotta try those barnacles one day, man. You can get those little mangrove crabs too, so I think you need to use a circle hook though, is the thing. That's gonna be real hard to do. If you're gonna film like me, I think you need to circle hook. Yeah. That's the law, I don't know, you know. I just gotta be cautious because I'm putting myself out there. So even if somebody says that's what they think the law is, I gotta really be careful. You know, every time a YouTuber gets bagged for doing something stupid, knock on wood, I am incident free, right? I have no, you know, skeletons in my closet that I'm worried about surfacing, and I really want to keep that clean. I don't need an FWC incident. I don't need anything, man. So whenever somebody says something's illegal or something like that, oh man, I want nothing to do with it. I like going home with a clear conscience. Wonder how big the schools of sheep's head on these bridges get though. You know, our moon phase is kind of in between. This is a pretty weak tide. A bite there. Wonder if you can get speckled trout on any of these bridges here. That's the other thing I'm wondering. Apparently there's, yeah. Triple tail's another one I wonder about too. I haven't caught one of those guys in a while. There's definitely some fish here. Still a little on the smaller side though. Would you have thrown that sheep's head back? Probably not. Like I said, I eat a lot of those guys throughout the year, and for some reason going home right now I'm preferring the mangrove snappers and the yellow jacks. sheepshead are pretty good to eat too, but I think I prefer the mangroves. You know, it's also, you know, sometimes you eat a certain fish very frequently, you get, I wouldn't say bored, you get a little bored of it, right? Having access to the mangrove snappers and a couple of these other fish, it's a little more interesting or exciting to me, right? Like, I grew up eating bluefish and striped bass quite often, and striper these days just doesn't do it for me. Bluefish is like a special project fish. Yeah, it's kind of funny. A lot of guys, yeah, put a lot of effort in getting on the water and fishing, and then, you know, the other half of your day, which is, you know, cooking your fish, is kind of, not, I wouldn't say an afterthought. It just doesn't get that attention. But everybody's different. You know, the more attention you give your catch, the better. Right now, the mangrove snappers, I love ceviche with them. I love them fried up. Yellow jacks are great as poke, so I'm getting like foods I don't get access to too often where I live. A couple bites in here. Ooh, smacked that thing good. Good thing about fishing with something made of lead, right? Versus a plug. If I had anything with a plug that hard, it'd be done. So this current here really moves. I'd say it seems like on the off moon phases, 1 mile an hour is what I get. And then on the moon phases, we're closer to 2. Hey, we didn't pancake that as bad as I thought we would. I thought that was going to truly be a pancake after that. Man, that would be the worst day ever. Casting and getting on US 1, though. I'd feel so embarrassed. It's never happened to me. It's one of the worst feelings ever. I got to give you, so I got a giveaway from that. Got to mail somebody that plug. Sandbagger Joe, I did one of those random generators. The guys watching Sandbagger Joe, you said you wanted that plug I picked up at 7 Mile Bridge, so do me a favor, I just remembered it. Email me through my website, your mailing address. I will get you that Rapala. So thanks for watching. Giveaway winner. Yay. I think we're kind of on slack tide here. Sure seems like we're very close to it at least. Just kind of bite there. Yeah, sitting in the sun feels really good right now. Feels like there's a 10 degree temperature difference between being in the sun and being under the bridge. So I got this really weird theory. This is deep into fishing world. So whenever I come to Florida, I catch, especially fish that are on the Gulf side, I catch sheepshead far more regularly on lures than I do on the Atlantic side. I've caught so few sheepshead on lures on the Atlantic side. And you know, since this is the Florida Keys, that could have been a Gulf sheepshead, whatever. My theory is the strain of sheepshead from the Gulf are more aggressive than the Atlantic ones, because the Atlantic ones are very hard to catch on lures, like cranka crabs, you know, they are not as easy to catch on lures. So there's always like different strains of fish, right? If you're really into like fish nerd stuff, you can learn about like one strain is home to here, Like for example, there's strains of striped bass that are, home to the Chesapeake and then the Hudson class. So a lot of fish have that behavior. I feel like a lot of fish have that behavior. Sorry, I don't know what the right word is. But anyway, like the Gulf of I think I'm wrong either way what I'm going to call it. Anyway, Gulf sheepshead I think are far more aggressive than their Atlantic strain counterparts. Sorry, strain is the word, right? So like, I think there's a strain of sheepshead that are from like the Chesapeake Bay and north. Then you have the Southeast Atlantic strain probably. And then you have your Gulf strain. It feels like the Gulf strains are absolutely the most aggressive of all those sheepshead. And those ones do seem to hit lures far more regularly than any of the Atlantic ones. Because every time I'm fishing the Gulf, fishing for sheepshead or fishing around with little lures, catch sheepshead pretty regularly. And it's quite a lot more rare to catch the Atlantic strains. And I know where to fish for sheepshead on in North Carolina, and I've tried it dozens of times to catch them on artificial. I don't know what's there. Also wondering if I am having a dull hook at this point though. We lost our tail to this gulp. That hook is still sharp. You always want to check these. These Mustad Ultra Points are pretty good. 1x strong hooks. Should we make our thumbnail? Why not? Got nice lighting for it. We're fishing a bucktail today. All right. This isn't Mr. Beast, I was listening to an interview from him. I think he says he spends days making thumbnails. Well, he is getting 150 million views of video. Me, I'm happy with 50,000 views of video these days. That is good enough for me. Not that greedy on that end. Man, that sun feels so good. If I could tell you how good this sun feels right now, on a cold morning out here in the Keys, it is, man, you're living your best life. You feel that sun right now. Whatever feelings you might have woken up with this morning, you get in that Florida Keys sun after a couple colder days, and you feel it doing its thing, that is truly heaven right there. What that Florida Keys sun feels like, especially on these colder days. Sure, in June you're like, oh, this Florida Keys sun, give me a break, man. What I would do for a couple clouds. So I got this bad habit of double popping my rod when I'm jigging. A lot of times I feel like that's the reaction strike, and I have a hard time slowing down. I'm stuck in my ways. Like I've always seen like crabs darting around. It feels like that's a good way to get a bite sometimes. Just doing that aggressive pop. Mango. Schmangos. I think it's another keeper, but you know what? Okay. I'll wait till we get a 13 or 14 inch or something like that. I wonder how much those guys move in a tide. It's definitely one of those things I'm not too sure about. All right, coming up on 84 minutes, so we'll fish the bucktail over an hour. I'd say we had decent enough results. I want to keep fishing it. All right. Snapper. Got a nice 15 inch snapper. Got a sheepshead, a couple jacks. Doesn't seem like I'm getting very different results versus just the plain gulp on a jig head though. But like I said, it's still definitely giving me a good enough start for the day. haven't seen any fish though. Sometimes I do see some fish as I go near these pilings. Like I'll see some grunts and snappers. One time I saw a snook. Occasionally you'll see a tarpon or a barracuda. It's been pretty quiet this last week. Dead of winter stuff, you know. The chubs, I haven't seen any chubs, no. I went to Key Largo the other day where I got the redfish, and I saw a lot of those chubs were hiding, trying to warm up in a cove somewhere. But that was a real, it seems like the bridges do seem to fish a lot better after a cold front. Oh, that sun feels so nice. Yes, indeed. This feels good out here, man. Well, let's make a couple casts out into no man's land. All right, why not? 10 feet of water in the middle of this channel here. There we go. Probably the ocean mutton bite's really good right now. Gotta try to get on that. Sharpest fish in the Keys, I think. I don't know if that comes out on camera, how many cuts I have on my hand from those things. Let's see. We're doing okay. That sun's really strong here. I don't know if they have any polarized lenses for these DJI Action 5s. They're really good cameras. I've been very happy with them for the most part. Fish are warming up like me, man. They want to sit out here. Let's leave these little muttons alone. Generally, you find these smaller mutton snappers in schools, but every now and then there's a larger one in the mix, man. I've, found that to be. Oh gosh, I want to get that gulp out of this guy's mouth. There we go. Yeah, I found that every now and then you do catch a bigger one in the mix. Oh, I don't know what that was. Something blew up behind us here. It's probably Jack, but I've seen those muttons blowing up on the surface once. It was really cool, super spooky though. Like birds were working. They were killing some kind of sardines on the beach last year, and I thought it was really cool. This guy's worn out though. So I saw those muttons doing that, and it was like it was a full-on like feeding frenzy, like you see jacks and stripers do, and red drum. Birds were working. They were slurping some kind of small bait about this size on the surface, but the minute you cast it into them, they were done with it immediately. Picked a good day to wear black in the Florida Keys, though. I just realized that. It's like, man, this stuff feels really... Oh, I'm wearing black. That's why it feels really good. Probably the only day I'll ever wear black in the Keys. G-hack. G-hack. It's the jack there, huh? Guess I'll make a couple more casts out here. Wonder if they like to be in the sun sometimes to warm up. I feel like in this deeper water that theory doesn't really hold too well, but you never know. Sometimes those sandbars are pretty good too. I feel like to occasionally come over them. I haven't caught too much small stuff, you notice that? Like there hasn't been any, really too many small grunts. I mean, they're all small fish, rather. Fishing a little bucktail like this, but yeah, it hasn't been too much small stuff today. Pretty cool RV park to stay there, man. Be a nice, you know, that travel trailer stuff's really intriguing to me. You know, it's not something I know too much about. I think I'd get into it pretty quickly though. There's a jack. It's coming in kind of a weird angle too, huh? snapper. You know, I actually have never had a mangrove snapper get sharked yet. I'm just coming to realize. It's really just been it's mostly jacks that you end up getting taxed around here. Almost whacked the top of this freaking bridge just now on that hook set. Embarrassing way to shatter a rod. Got to go for those tarpon at night very soon too. Usually February I could start. I mean, depends on the bait though, what kind of bait shows up. I think we did our full drift back up and down. Takes about, you know, even a small bridge, me personally, it takes me about an hour to work up in one side of it, then another, and yeah, definitely go through the motions of it for sure. Definitely tempted to try the next bridge over. I'm going to take a look out there, see how it looks. Want to, you know, I like these little bridges, but there's another one that's not too far, and I think the weather should allow me to get over there. Something nice. Little jack. Life brings life though, right? That's the saying. So we got jacks there, doesn't mean there's nothing else there. We'll do some more casting in that channel, then it's another option. It's a nice fish. This is a jack, isn't it? Might be a bigger one. Yeah, I think it's a larger one. Let's side hook them. Catch a lot of fish. Oh man, it's supposed to get into the 70s I think this week, so I'm really pumped about that. Just I feel like one of these iguanas hanging off the trees today. I'm like letting that sun really hit me. I'm like getting losing, don't know what to say. Gonna be slurring my words. It's almost like I'm getting drunk from the sun. How good it feels. Oh man. Let's see what this is. What do I have to hook here? Ooh. Little tarpon, cool. Let's get him out of there. I know some guys net tarpon. I've always been told to not net tarpon. So hope I'm not going to regret what I'm going to try to do here. I'm going to try to lip him. I don't know. I'm almost debating netting him is going to be the better move. But yeah, I've been told don't put tarpon in nets. So, but I've been told lots of wrong things. Come on. Dude, come on, I got you. I'm very nervous right now handling this thing by the kayak like this. Gotcha. Thanks, dude. Nice, that was fun. Bucktailed up a little tarpon there. That was fun. Good times. I got too much hair left on here. So, 3-inch gulp minnows. I love these gulp minnows. I picked them up on sale. These tubs were on sale for about $7 last fall. I think they weren't a popular choice, and I was like, I'll take them. The bite there. I wonder if it's the shape of that first bucktail. That banana head's not a good jigging. I don't know. Let me not overthink it. I'll let you guys tell me everything here, because it seems like I'm having pretty decent luck with this teardrop style bucktail. Or maybe it was the gulp I was tipping it with. I know I definitely caused a ruckus with that tarpon, So yeah, do you net the smaller tarpon? I feel like he was going to do a lot of damage in the net. I feel like I've seen other people net him on YouTube, but I don't watch enough YouTube to remember it. Could be giving you some dementia. I have no idea, honestly. I think I've seen people netting them. Some years I catch a lot of those smaller tarpon, but this year I don't think I've caught too many. That was probably my third one of those smaller tarpon. Hooked one or two other ones, I think. I don't hook too many though. The other thing is that I haven't seen any of the large barracudas. It's always like a good day, target them. Like, I'm not talking like the little two footers, I'm talking like the 45-inch class fish. I haven't been seeing too many of them. Get out of there. That's a jack, isn't it? This guy, I'm going to swing into the kayak. Definitely a bigger one of these guys. Whoa, okay. Slimy fella. I'm liking this Stratic. I hope it makes it for the rest of this Florida Keys trip, man. I put that Vanford up for sale for 50 bucks. It needs a new line roller assembly. So that Vanford's 50 bucks. That Certate is 150. This Certate somebody took already. I have a Twin Power my wife's bringing over. A Twin Power 3000 I haven't used. My 4000 Twin Power, it's not doing that well, man. The anti-reverse also slips on it pretty regularly. Okay, let's see what's up here. The leader I'm using today, that's 30 pounds, so I'm a little heavier. Yeah. Stratic's not bad, man. Stratic was probably one of the first nicer reels I've ever, nice to me. Yeah, I didn't grow up with much money. Most of the reels we fished growing up were 40, 50 bucks. So, but the Stratic was definitely one of the first nice reels I've owned. I have like 2 or 3 of them in my early 20s. So I do have a soft spot for them. I think it was the Stratic FK was one of the first ones I had for a while, and I like that one a lot for sure. Stratic. My dad always liked the Fluger Presidents, but they weren't good for saltwater fishing, man. They're good freshwater reel though for their price points. I'm talking 20 years ago now. Cool variety today, though. Got a sheep's head, a tarpon, and what was the other one? 15-inch mangrove. That's not too bad. I'm already happy with how today's going, especially how cold I am. Those smaller tarpon are fun. I like them up to about, 40, 50 inches. They're always a good time. After 50 inches, they can start to get a little nerve-wracking sometimes. Pretty shallow over here, honestly. All right. All right, let's take a little look out here, see what it's like. All right. Take a look out in this channel for a minute. Got my live well back there. I don't know if we're going to use it at all today. We're going to get this snapper buried on ice a little better. Oh, it's cold. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to go to that other bridge. We'll save that for another day, man. Let's have fun. Just stick around here. I got nothing to prove by headed to the next bridge over. I think what we'll do is we'll try to find the ledge to this channel. Maybe fish up this side of it a little bit. Yeah, you don't know how cold. I needed to pack my dry pants. That was a big mistake. Next time I come back to the Keys, I'm definitely bringing my dry pants because it's probably 59, 58 this morning. And I'm feeling it. Okay, this is the drop here. Yeah, I like to do this too, man. Just sit out here in the channel and throw a jig around. Find the edges of some, deep holes, and there's usually a few fish out here too, right? Whoa, looked like some tarpon or something was blowing up on bait out there. Ooh. Maybe it's these mutton snappers blowing up on bait. Yeah, we're gonna go for the larger muttons this week. I think this cold front's gonna give me a good shot at some big ones. They might be what's blowing up on some of that bait too. Missed it. Yeah, we're gonna go after some muttons. Gotta decide if I want to go to Bahia Honda or I want to go to try it on the reefs. I think I want to try Bahia Honda. After this cold weather, I think I might not see too many sharks, so it's gonna give me opportunities that probably might not get too often anyway. I don't go to Bahia Honda too often because the sharks can be pretty overwhelming there. A couple bites out here, not too many though. Fishing the almighty bucktail, man. That's not a fish. There's no way that's a fish. No, it's some kind of anchor or something. Maybe it's a rock. Not a fish. Oh yeah, look at me go. Got somebody else's line. Ooh, got some. Let's see what's on the end of this. Some very light line here. Okay. So, mono's making its comeback, is it? Okay. What else we got here? That's definitely stuck on something down there, but less trash the better. Threw that in the back of the kayak. I didn't throw that back into the water. I also found that pack of DOA jerk shads that I thought I lost the other day and was feeling kind of guilty about. Turns out they were just in the back of the kayak too, so. My footprint isn't as terrible as I was worried it was going to be. Justin, I can't find your sharks, man. I'm like looking to see one. If I see like a black tip or a spinner shark, I think I would maybe just try for a little bit, but I haven't seen one of those jokers out here yet. Trying to find this. I think that channel was back there a little bit more then, huh? Alright. Did see a couple blow-ups here. Wonder what blowing up on bait here. Could just been jacks though, man. Gonna try a couple of new bridges this week too. There's still 2 or 3 bridges I haven't fished before, so I'm gonna try a couple of those. I like the ones with just the right amount of current though. They seem to be the easiest for me to manage. So I learned my lesson. A couple of the faster bridges, it's just not doable in the kayak to have a day like this. Even though this is kind of considered a mediocre day, you know, with the wind the way it is, and just not too many options. It's like this or the backcountry. I really want to get the scoop about fishing the docks a little more too. If the docks, you know, are really that frowned upon. I've heard don't fish the docks here before. It's kind of a looked down upon thing to be fishing some docks. But I don't know, you know, it's one of those things. If the homeowners aren't there, then nobody cares. But you know, I don't know if they're all considered dock pets here or whatnot. Some places they don't like you fishing docks. North Carolina, it's pretty common to fish docks. Some places, like a lot of places, nobody cares you fish docks for the most part. But that etiquette changes everywhere you go. So just want to get the scoop of it, not, you know, I know it's legal, but, you know, I've seen some weird stuff. That's all I gotta say. All right, there's not much there in this cut right now. We're on slack tide more or less too, I think. All right, let's see. So hang on, we have hit an hour and 20 minutes. I gotta take a leak. So let's do that and then figure out what to do the other half of this day. Okay. All our gear is working, microphones, mic check, static check. Okay, what I'm thinking here is let me get back into this channel area here for a little bit. I think I want to maybe catch a fish for bait, like a small grunt or a small pinfish. Maybe we'll live line them around this channel, see if we got any bites. I got some 50-pound leader back there. It might be a tarpon. You know, I don't know. Figure we could try something different. We can keep coming through and floating back and forth, but yeah, I think what I want to do is, I think the channel was somewhere here, right? So I can make some blind casts in the channel here for a little longer. Like I said, I don't want to get caught in the wind. This is a different type of Elias fishing, man. I'm glad you're here for me with me for it rather. But I'm really trying to chill and have a good time. I missed something over there. A couple bites around here. Here we go. Finally stuck that one. Tons of these guys. There's a big school of those things. Seen them on the sonar too now. Yeah, I think that's them right down there under me. This mutton's more like red drum, in my opinion. I love current. Current and edges, that's what they're all about. The way current moves off some of these spots. Let me zip up a little more here, see what else we got. Yeah, I haven't really looked out in some of these areas before, so let's take a quick look, see what we got. Right, the current's moving really nicely, so I got a ledge here. Be able to catch something out here. Wind's hitting me pretty good already out here, though. Good amount of growth too. Only thing out here, yeah, is I'm getting hit by wind pretty good. I made a couple little exploratory blind casts. That's all. Lost our trailer there too, huh? Get a new one on there. Well, that one's, it's cold. Burr. Cute idea. I'm going back under the bridge. I'm cold. I'm getting hit. As soon as I get enough of that crosswind hitting my face here, I'm over it. I want to go warm up. Ice fishing soft. I only got a sweater and pants on, man, and water shoes and water booties. I don't have anything to handle the low 60-degree stuff right now. So here we go, back under the bridge troll. You know, it's surprising there's no jacks out here. I was expecting to maybe bump into a few of those somewhere out here floating around too. Other fish, I'm kind of surprised I haven't caught too many of those ladyfish right now too. Woo-hoo. Much better. Just get enough of that cut from the wind, and immediately it shoots up 5-10 degrees. Oh, I missed it. Dang it. So this is slack tide. Slack tide is kind of a tough deal, right? As you become more familiar with the fishery, you can learn how to catch really good sized fish on slack tide. Like by me in North Carolina, I do, usually like to take advantage of slack tide for some of my largest red drum, largest flounder, largest sheep's head, but it's definitely like a learning curve, right? It's like where are you going to get the bite from the top of the food chain on slack tide? In general, moving tide's good for 90% of your fishing, but slack tide is good for that 10% monster bite in some spots. I don't think this is it, unfortunately. Right? There is definitely that monster bite in a certain spot or two, but I don't think it's right here. way it is. And it could be regional, right? Maybe here in the Keys, slack tide's bad for everything. Except sharks, maybe, right? It sure seems like most snapper do not like biting on slack tide. I do notice that, but every now and then you'll find a hole that they'll bite really well on slack tide. Might have had a bite there. Today we got jacks around, no grunts. A lot of smaller mutton snappers are around today too. Okay, so I learned at low tide I can clear this bridge, but I think at high tide I cannot. Okay. Gonna get hit by some more wind right here. It's gonna be hard to position ourselves here, but we're gonna give this a try. Really should, for slack, take advantage of going to the next bridge over there and just checking it out. I haven't fished it this year yet. Maybe once I did. Let's float to the end here. This wind's making it tough. Good thing is, in tougher conditions, sometimes the fish are stupider. More stupid, rather. The slack tide lull. Who's that Pokemon? Can't believe I said that. I don't know, I'm trying to come up with witty things to say, and unfortunately I said, who's that Pokemon? I think we should. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mutton Snapper. Sorry, audience. Okay, let's see. Let's see what my journey over to the next bridge would look like. How tough it would be. If it's not that bad, maybe I'm going to do it. I don't want to fight wind though. Cool to catch a tarpon though. Wonder if, you know, there's usually like 2 or 3 on these bridges, like of those mid-sized ones. Occasionally a bigger one. At least in the winter months, right? No, let's take a look. We're gonna see how bad our journey is gonna be to get to the next bridge over. That's slack tide for you, man. This one just didn't have much for slack. All right, let's get over to the next. Let's see how our journey over to the next bridge is going to look. I'll turn on the camera as we get closer. Not sure if there's a couple cuts I can kind of zig through. I think let's try another bridge. Wrap it up on that. It's going to take about 10-15 minutes probably. A little chilly, but I think we get over there, see something different. Dry pants would go a long way. Let me see. Hang on. Right, we're back. My ride home is gonna suck. It's not long, thankfully, but it's not gonna be fun. It's gonna be rolling pretty good for a very brief amount of time. All right. And this dock probably has some fish on it. I'm sure that the guys who stay here fishing hard though. Let's see what we got. No trespassing, obviously. No motorized vessels within 200 feet of this pier. I consider it a motorized vessel. I don't know. That's a good question. I sometimes, sometimes I don't know if that applies to combustion engines only, or whatever you got. This looks like a good spot to throw a topwater. But I got this bucktail tied on instead, so you know it. Oh man, that sun feels so nice though. Oh man. That is a gift. Feeling that sun and being out of the wind at the same time, it's a gift. All right, I've fished this bridge not too often, maybe 2-3 times tops. Like anything, it's gonna have its moments. We can come back to these mangroves if anything. I think there's a little bit more boat traffic here typically because there is this marina. So it's not as peaceful, but hopefully it's not going to have too many people fishing under it. Yeah, somebody might be here today because it's one of the spots to just tuck out of the wind, but you never know. So put a 1/4 ounce bucktail on. The problem with this bucktail that it doesn't have too much, can't really thread a bait on. I kind of like having, a little bit of grip on a, there we go. I'm gonna fish a bait with a on a bucktail. I do like having that grip. Whew. This is a nice deep channel though. It does have some depth through here. So we'll try it. 1/4 ounce bucktail to start, gulp minnow. The gulp's been an MVP for me personally, right? Definitely having some good bites using gulp. So what are we doing? We're fighting a little bit of current here. Doing 4.2 miles an hour, so that's the speed. I'd love to get one yellowjack for dinner too, so yellowjack would be nice to kind of round out the day of that diversity that the Florida Keys has. You got jacks, you got tarpon, sheep's head. I love it here, man. I also just love the amount of fishable water. Right, there's no shortage of water to fish around here, so here I got a little bit better block. So I could have gone around the Atlantic side. That was like a 1 mile run almost. So I took the wet ride that was only like 1/4 mile. I don't know about the way in. We'll have to decide on that part. All right, I'm like pumped. So that was a pretty decent start, man. Let's see what else we get. Maybe those gulp sandworms are no good. These do seem like tighter columns a little bit too. All right, drum roll. Let's see what we're gonna get here. Smaller bridge though. It's definitely not as large as the last one. But that doesn't mean it's not gonna be good. As long as it's got tide, it's got fish. It's got much slower tide right now. We are on slack tide right now, so. Near slack tide. This water's clearer. That other bridge wasn't that clear. This one's very clear. Just casting and bouncing bottom. That's what we're doing so far. Got him. Busted out the little light rod here for a little bit. Okay. Oh, that jack's having a hard time going down. Got some nice feathers on here, but I wish he left a little bit more of a gap on the hook to thread something on. This bucktail would be really good to just put a strip of squid on there. I think I'd be done with it pretty quickly. really no tide here. Never know. I get lucky with a couple bites still. Water's a lot clearer here, though. I'm noticing that right away. 8 feet, definitely a little bit shallower, but there's something there. A couple jacks are there too. See what we got in here. We got these little 2-inch. These might be the perfect ticket. Yeah, might be what I needed to do the whole time. It's that little 2-inch grub. We got just this hodgepodge of gulp right here. All the different flavors and colors. Who's who. That many fish here. Oh no. Got our first tangle window. You're like, what is he doing? I had a wrap on my tip. I just kind of, the tip on this rod I could tell is very fragile, but other than that, I tell you though, notice how quick those jacks were coming in. They're definitely kind of under, acting weird from the cold. They were just kind of, put that crank on the reel pretty quickly, and they were in. It's gonna be interesting to see how Bahia Honda fishes. That's definitely a great spot to fish, but it's got the sharks. But now that it got really cold like this, I got a couple days before it warms back up to probably try to catch something there. It's my guess. It doesn't really matter the spot too much. I think that slack tide stuff in the Keys is just, it's over. Over for a few, at least. I did go down to this 1/4 ounce bucktail for slack. Maybe a 16th or an 1/8 is the move. I don't have any bucktails that light. We've got jig heads that light, but no bucktails, so today's a bucktail day. No yellow jack. I guess that makes sense. I don't think the yellow jacks, they're probably like a cooler than a couple of the other fish, but I don't think they'll be out here when the water's in the mid-60s. You never know, but I think that they kind of, it makes sense that they kind of change their location a little bit. Get with those black spots. Bridge seems very slow right now. A bite there though. Thinking about lunch right here. What am I going to get for lunch? What's the best Cuban sandwich in Marathon, if you know? I've been going to Habanos and Lower Matacumba for lunch every time I'm in that area. Love me a good Cuban sandwich. I gotta look it up on Google. I'm sure there's a couple reviews. Got a really good taco truck next to where I'm staying, so been eating a lot of been eating good, I know that. I want to prep lunch for today, since the weather looks really good the next few days. I want to prep some lunch with these fish for the next few days, so I'm all set on that end. All right, let's try the other side of this bridge, man. This is really quiet. Far more quiet than the other bridge. Far more. Hope we can figure out a little bite here somewhere. Put in my cards to come to this bridge just to try a little bit of different scenery, but we ain't seen much. Still, it's a pretty decent sized bridge. It's got to have a couple more fish somewhere here besides the jacks. We might just have to wait for that tide to turn, man. And that's what it is. That's what it is. So you know the deal. Waiting game is just fine. And we've been shown a couple times it could be just one side of the bridge has got it all. Everything else could give you the old forget about it. I know it's not the same anymore. Forget about it. I also have my wife and I, Meg is a North Carolina native. She gets on me every time I try to sneak in the word y'all, because I kind of like that word. It's a very efficient word. Y'all, it just gets it done. But she's like, you can't say that. I think now she's okay with it. You know, it took about 6-7 years. I was like, all right, I think I can finally sneak in the word y'all. She doesn't give me crap about it anymore. But main point here is where the fish. Maybe they're not on the bridge. Just float around for a minute, hunt out here, and then go back to the bridge. Very possible. Slack tide weirdness rears its head every time. I don't know if I had a bite where that plastic tore through there. Looking forward to tomorrow, though. Next couple days, I'm really looking forward to that. We get that change of scenery. Hey, I made videos outside the bridges. You know, you can't say I didn't try. I hope you can't say I didn't try. I definitely changed location a couple times. You know, I gave it that effort. I gave it an honest effort. Let's try somewhere here, maybe. I mean, we caught those fish on that other bridge real shallow today. They were like, most of the better bites were in like 6-7 feet, so definitely have good depth for this here. But it could be current related more than anything too. And I'm gonna take this ride over to this bridge. I'm gonna go home in sloppy current. Gotta go through 2 more bridges. I go complaining, man. Didn't mean to start complaining. I don't have much to complain about. It's not like I gotta go walk through snow or something like that. I'm gonna get wet and then jump in a hot shower in 30 minutes. Oh, it's a real tough life, you gotta lie. We might just zip it back to that other bridge, man. Finish up. We're definitely gonna give this. We're gonna zip right through here, man. If nothing happens today here. You know, that cold weather does weird things too. You know, this one zone might have it. That's it. Look, point sharp. Yeah, I can't get on 7 Mile today. There's no way. I'm not gonna mess with 7 Mile. Got a bite there. Right, next set of pilings then. Just keep moving. We on here for 25 minutes already? Yeah, that 30-minute mark, I'm gonna go back to the other bridge then. Those barnacles, man. I'm just thinking about the barnacles and the sheep's head now. See the barnacles. I wanna use some barnacles. It's tough. I using the just when I thought I was building a little confidence with that bucktail, I'm right back to square one. I've got no confidence again. A little bite there at least. Maybe a grunt or a pinfish, something was down there, nipping at my tail. Florida Keys, slack tides, man. I think in the future I'm just gonna drink drink a cup of coffee on the beach on slack tide and talk about stuff, man. I don't know. So do the blue crabs come through here? I've only seen blue crabs a couple times around here. Do they come through the passes too like this? Not even too many jacks on it. I feel like this spot is just a big right now. The value of a moving tide cannot be understated in some areas. Got a couple of small bites here, but it's not many. Gonna take that wet ride in. That's all she wrote for me here, man. Able to, ooh, barely cleared that. Don't do that. I was like, I think I cleared this one, no issues. I just heard one of my rods scraping there. Barely cleared it. This is the deepest part right here. We had a couple of those bites earlier, but haven't had any bites since. So, where else can we work here? Any other secret areas? A little channel up there, but it's all about the same. I think the bridge would be the honey hole. I think it's going to happen here today. We just need to accept that. Is the detour worth it? I've had decent bites with yellow jacks and muttons here too, small muttons rather. But I wonder if it's that slack tide stuff, that curse of the slack, possibly, quite possibly. What I think we should do is, before I lose some tide, right, I'm gonna have the outgoing. I gotta go through some skinny water. I think I should make that journey over before that tide really dumps out, so I don't have to worry about crossing over some lumpier stuff. 30 minutes, just a couple bites here. Bet there's fish here. They're just, whatever's here is just not in the mood. I should probably consider what I got going on. I'm back there lucky after seeing what this is like right now. Catch my drift. All right. So there's good depth here. Well, I think we gotta make the move, make a pretty good decision here, and I think it's to get out of here for a moment. That's what I'm thinking. Let's go head over back to that other bridge then. Hang on. It's kind of a lumpy ride, man. All right, let's give this 45 minutes, call it a day. Sorry we tried something different and didn't work out. Like I said, I got no clue what I was doing wherever I'm going. Wow, it's cold. I'm not shivering, but I ain't used to this in the Keys, man. It's like a weird feeling for me to be, you know, under like the chill. This is like 8-9 feet. You know what? Let's make a couple blind casts. What's the worst that's gonna happen? We'll catch nothing. Let's see. Yeah, if we catch nothing, we catch nothing. I'm sure we're gonna see some of these small muttons here. Muffin snappers. I think we'll see a tarpon here. Got a piece of lettuce in my drive there, somewhere there. Heard it spinning just now. What is that? Lizard fish? Get out of here. Pretty quiet, man. Hoping we see something there. Sometimes those bars are pretty decent, but I don't think we got much going on that end. Let's do the last thing that I love to do. Oh, no, I was going to try troll. Let's do a little trolling back up to the bridge then. See if we pick up anything doing that. And we're gonna just tuck out of the wind. It's definitely kicking up a bunch right now. I don't know about these new Stratics, man. That drag sounds weird. You hear it? This doesn't sound very like, I guess it's subtle. I feel like a subtle drag. Kind of like, you know, there's a certain satisfaction out of a drag sound. Like Penn's got a I love the sound of a Penn's drag. I mean, the Iowa ones too, but this, I don't know, this sounds like a wet fart. That doesn't get me pumped, but I got a nice fish on there. I guess it tells me I have a fish on there, maybe. We ain't getting any bites trolling. Sometimes you pick up snappers trolling too, though. More often than not, I'll pick up like lizardfish and stuff like that. I got the outgoing tide now. Just got the switch because I'm going 4.5. So yeah, I think it's just starting to work with me here. Yeah, this is Keys after the cold weather, man. It seems like that's pretty much what, you know, it's not as easy as you think after cold weather. You really got to put that in your brain sometimes. I got to get myself up to Flamingo next week too. Really want to fish Flamingo. I've never been there. I got no idea what to start. I'm not gonna look, you know. I'm just gonna go and find a channel or an island or two and just wing it, man. And that's part of the fun for me. I know I could watch 50 YouTube videos tonight and get an idea, but I think as long as I'm just gonna look at charts and, you know, try not run aground and get myself in trouble, and that's it. That's kind of how I want to do it. We hooked the tarpon somewhere here. I mean, on the other side of the bridge. No, didn't get a bite trolling. Try that lighter bucktail. Like I said, we are on a slower part of the tide. Gonna get back on this side of the bridge, even though we did catch our one decent mangrove on this side. I want to get under here. Yeah, boy. What on earth is going on there? There's a bunch of people, like, there's like 7, 8 people waiting. Yeah, I see some strange things in the Keys. Yeah, I got no idea what that's all about, man. That is like very strange, though. What on earth are those guys doing? All right. Always see interesting behavior out here sometimes. Some kind of religious ceremony? I don't know. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. There's something just like, there's like a dozen guys. It's all really rocky down there. That's why there's like a dozen people in the water, waist deep. Maybe they're diving for something. I better mind my own business, that's all. Mind your own business, Elias. You know the deal. What's up with this start of the outgoing, man? It's not really doing much. I was hoping this would be the better part of our fishing trip. Would be this outgoing, not really the incoming. What's that red blob on that piling? You see that right there? It's something like I've never seen before. I don't see too many sea urchins in the Keys, too. Do you guys have sea urchins here? I was thinking about that, too. Like, A lot of sea urchins in the Carolinas. The other one is octopus. Are there octopus in the Keys? Yeah, fishing here is wacky, man. It's a wacky experience. See a lot of glass minnows now. Gonna be the last. I think this is gonna be the last of the what's it called though? The Little Bridge videos I do. Maybe I'll do one with live shrimp again. I tried one. I watched it back and it was unwatchable. I mean, I got one 11-inch mangrove snapper with 40 shrimp, and you know, a lot of grunts and small jacks. I must have done something wrong. So I don't know. I'll give that another try. That. With the shrimps, but this bucktail one's definitely a little all over the place as of now. Got a couple of nice fish out of today though. I don't know why I can't get a bite on this outgoing tide, man. I mean, I guess I had a bite there. I didn't feel that thing at all. Maybe I'll stop with the gulps for a second then. Just stick with the procure on the hairs. I'm out of ideas, man. not just in life. At this point in the trip. Can't seem to get much going on this style bucktail. Like this kind of traditional one. Seems like it's not getting any bites. Come in contact with bottom, doing everything right. Do the one with the squid on the, maybe on the reefs next time. Go back to this one then. Got me a bad bucktail. That's all it is. Oh, duh. What? Am I drunk? Like, what is going on? I had a minnow on there. I'm good on the camera. Wasn't sure if we had some spray or anything like that. Let's see when this current just picks up if we get a good bite. Right now it's just starting to get going. First bite there. Hang myself up there. Good. Oh, it sucked. That was a good bite. I think it was a jack though, man. Getting some bites in this tube here. I had one really good bite here and I thought I blew it. Uh-oh, what I hit? Whacked something. Just try to shoot into that tube quickly. Check that hook point, hull point. I've had like 3 bites and I missed every single one. Just check, see, are we still sharp? We're still sharp. All right, man, I don't know. You know, I was expecting by now we'd get a couple better bites out here by this point in the tide. Well, this last hour has been like, wow, what a big difference. What do you think we should do? Try to catch a tiny grunt maybe and catch a shark? I don't know, I don't want to catch sharks, man. You want to see me catch sharks? I mean, you know, like I said, it's all about having fun. A shark here and there is fun. It's definitely going through my head right now to maybe try to catch a, you know, a grunt about that big and throw him out behind me. Doesn't even mean that I'll get a shark very easily. Now it's warming up. I see 2 kayakers coming out. Try a couple of these other areas here. I wonder what those guys are waiting for. I'm not seeing them like reach down into the water or anything like to, you know, grab some conchs or something like that. I don't know what they're, yeah, no idea. Not picking up traps or anything. Maybe they are. Let's see what we got here, fellas. Oh, we got cruise control on. You got to be careful with that cruise control. If you turn it on and forget you turned it on, you can ram into some stuff pretty hard. Oh no. I finally caught the bridge today. Yeah, I think we're losing this jig to the bridge here. Be a good one right now. I think I got on the backside, yeah. One might be gone. Not be any saving. Oh, we got it back. Look at that. Sometimes there's no saving it. You know the deal. It is cold. Feel it down in my plums. That was one of my favorite shows in college, Eastbound and Down. Okay. Gotta mentally get back into this. I feel like I fell out. You go fishing sometimes. And like you go in and out. You're like in the zone. You feel like there's a tarpon right there. You feel like you got it down, and then out of nowhere, it seems like you lose it. That's what feels like I'm going through right now. Like now I'm losing it. I had a rhythm earlier that I was pretty happy with, and then out of nowhere I seem to have lost it. And then there's that you got to get it back again. It's like it's tricky. Right now, I don't know. Thinking about what we're going to eat for lunch now instead of fishing. It's pretty cool to see a tarpon roll though. That looked like it was a decent sized one. Let's see what we got here. Bites changed too, man. Jack heavy today. Very few grunts and silly stuff like that. I wonder, that reset time might be pretty long today. Maybe the wind. Finally. Give me that grunt. Oh, it's just a piece of seaweed. Here I go. Thinking that was a fish. Sometimes that growth, it bites, Feels like you got weight down there out of nowhere. I think I'm crazy. I'm telling you. The worst bite is the anchor rope. Every now and then the anchor rope bites, and when you feel somebody's anchor rope, there's like a weird pull. Especially the more current, the more weird that anchor rope bite could be. Go. This one we're not getting back. I think I really dredged into something there. Oh no, we got it back too. These bucktails are like $3 each on Amazon. They're really good for that price. Doesn't seem like the hairs are as nice and sturdy as the Spro ones, but price conscious bucktail, that's a good one. Gonna bite in there. How do I feel about the bucktail by the end of today? I'm kind of on the fritz that I think the best performer is the Gulf shrimp. Going with the Gulp shrimp. It's my MVP. A lot of stuff seemed to work well. Don't get me wrong, but I think the Gulp shrimp definitely caught the best fish that one day. So far. And we're having a hard time turning around in this wind. The longest turnaround period I've had out here too. There we go. Oh, lost him. That was a good bite. Is that hook dull, man? I wouldn't say it's dull. I just got really stick those bites better than I have been doing just now. Here comes the grass of doom. Man, I sucked the second half today, man. We had a very promising start today with that tarpon, sheep's head, keeper mangrove snapper, a couple decent jack bite. But this last hour and a half, I sucked. I don't know, I just wasn't able to adapt properly today. I feel great shame. Great shame. What am I doing wrong? I really need that comment section. Light me up today, man. I definitely feel like I've sinned. Put the bad name to the bucktail today. slow start for like 30-40 minutes. Now this midday stuff is like, it's non-existent today. Might have had a bite there finally. You think it's because I lost all the hairs on this freaking bucktail? Need to put a new one on? Could be that too. I tried my best today. Cold front got me. Fish outsmarted me. I don't know. I think it's that cold. That could be that water's a lot colder coming off the Gulf now too, because that's where the water's shallower. Definitely get colder water from there. Dirty warm water or clean cold water? There you go. Wow, look at that one. That's some crazy pattern on this one. Tiger snapper. Look at that. Wow, I've never seen one with that many of those dark spots like that. It's fishing, not catching. That's for sure, man. All right, last cast there. Starting to catch a couple of these mangroves at least now. Mangroves are very smart fish though. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. There we go. That's a fish. Right. There's that piece of coral again. Little mutton. Mutton. A lot of the smaller muttons today. Mutton. Bahia. Gotta get my things down. Muffin snapper. Let's get back under this bridge, do our farewell tour. Oh man, it's definitely not the most comfortable day out here. At least in terms of temperature. I did have better bite here than I did at the on the, what's it called now? Under this bridge today than I did a couple of the other spots post cold front. So it does tell me that the bridges do bounce back a little bit quicker than the flats and stuff do. But the thing is too, it's not great either, man. This is probably the second slowest day I've had on a bridge. I mean, I had that nice bite that got going, but nothing, didn't want to hold up for very long. Yeah, I'll blame that on that quick switch, and then I bet that cold water coming out of here is much colder than it is. It feels cold. It feels a lot colder than what it was this morning. I think this morning I had a lot of that warmer water out here, so I don't know. Or maybe it's just my bucktail's too mangled, right? It's lost all its pieces of flair. I don't know if you ever watched Office Space. There was definitely a lot of talk about flair. So I might have lost all my flair after that. The rest is history. Midday fishermen are out. I'm gonna wrap this one up soon though. It's definitely ended up being a morning bite for the most part. Any other ideas? Do we have any last ideas here? Areas we might have not fished. Try and jig out in this channel now. We're not getting any more bites either. Small muttons were here earlier. Now there's not much. Oh man, I wouldn't have put my cards in on the incoming tide. I guess I should have. Thought that water was going to be really dirty, but there was probably a huge temperature swing between outgoings and incomings, and that's always a bad thing. Temperature swings are always tough. And we didn't see a barracuda, a needlefish today. Any of that stuff. That's a tough day, man. Tough day in the Keys. Finally had a bite out here. Still beats a tough day in most places, though. Let's take a little drift down through here, see if we can find anything. There we go. Smaller muttons here. Where do they all go? Mutton snappers leave. Yellowjacks. They all kind of go places, huh? You know, I never got that live well going today. Don't really regret it. I don't think I would have seen too much. I think we got down into one of those days again that, you know, after the cold weather, that bite window is just very tight. Hopefully that changes soon, but as of right now, I think that's the deal. I'm not going to get much further out than this. I'm just throwing into kind of this channel area here. Hopefully we can get one or two good bites, but seems like steady 7 foot flat out here. Not gonna get anything else out here. Life's under that bridge right now. Let's take one last look under the bridge. There's one little deep cut I kind of want to try, and I'm gonna go home, get myself a sandwich, think about the bucktail bite. Hope you guys like that I tried the bucktail. A lot of people were requesting it. I know probably with the strip of squid I might have done a little bit better versus a gulp minnow, but I do like my gulp minnows, as you know. So. As you do know. I need that bigger one. bigger minnow. There we go. I wonder if a second teaser hook would do you any good too. It's one of those things I'm not too sure. So I usually just use a single hook here with that. You know, you can put like a dropper loop and a second hook. You kind of have like that tandem rig. It's a very popular flounder thing. I always wondered that too. There's definitely more people out today. Feels like it's, you know, people aren't moving around a bunch. So everyone's waiting for that cold weather to pass, so there it is. Alright, I'll make this my last stop here. I've caught some mangroves in here, and I'm sure there might be a couple jacks, but this water's getting real clear though. Tide, down to like 5-6 feet of visibility. Up to 5-6 feet. Earlier it was very low. There we go. Let's keep it goober. Mutton? Yeah. A lot of muttons. Stop on the stop on the train, Keys train here. No grunts today, man. We caught like one or two of those. Just a few jacks around, not too many. It's really definitely getting big changes, man. Like every time we've done one of these trips, the type of fish around has changed a bunch. Went from lots of trips with lots of grunts to ones with just these guys now are the dominant catch. I think I caught more short muttons today than I caught anything else. Probably need some pretty good circumstances to get those bigger ones around something like this, though. It is fun how much it changes, though, right? It's like we've had trips, I think they're almost, every single one's been kind of different here on these little bridges, man. I mean, we're still catching kind of the same group of fish, sure. You know, I go from jacks predominantly to mangroves predominantly to grunts, you know, kind of the same like 8 or 9 types of fish seem to show their dominance. But it's like, yeah, today's the first day the smaller muttons seem to be the main fish we're seeing. Fine. It's going to be an interesting week to see what we find out in the ocean. I bet we're going to find a good mutton bite of some decent sized fish finally. We got a couple more of these mutton snapper bites here. It's the first time I came out to this particular bridge. I remember I caught like, I was catching like pretty nice sized sailor's choice and, you know, maybe a couple mangroves. And now it's like, shit, it's changing. Growth. Mangrove. This is so much fun out here though, man. You catch a lot of types of fish, some big, some small, good to eat, bad to eat, fun to look at, scary, giant to raise. It's a little everything. I don't know, what else can we try? Like I said, I got to try the live shrimp again. It was a very bad video. And, you know, by my standards, these videos are all pretty bad. So if I thought it was too bad to upload, I mean, yeah, I don't think, I don't know. I couldn't upload it. Got to try the frozen ballyhoo too. We'll do on the ocean. We'll do the squid and the bucktail. I'll try jigging that a little bit. Yeah, I do like what I really like a lot about the lures too is I don't catch too many sharks. I'm not catching rays really, like so. That kind of bycatch is very low. I do enjoy that a lot. This is a really weak tide too. So, all right, that was the day of the bucktail, man. We had a good flurry for a second there. We got dinner, so we got a flurry of action, quick flurry, dinner, a couple decent fish. I'd put right today, in terms of the artificial, you know, jig fishing, I'd put it right down the middle. So it was decent. Wasn't the best day so far, but it wasn't bad. But we had some tough conditions, right? We had this front move through finally. And there we are. All right, let's hang out. Thanks, Stratic. You did pretty good. One of the first quiet videos, right, where we haven't heard. Alright, kept one mangrove for dinner. I was hoping to see some of those yellow jacks, but can't predict everything, you know. Some days they're everywhere, other days there's not so many. Alright, bucktail. Hope you enjoyed a bucktail video. And some exploring around. You know, I don't have guarantees when I you know, I try to pick up and move around a little bit. Try a different zone. So, but the bucktail didn't do too bad today. So I'm glad we got a tarpon. First Keys sheep's head. So we had some fun stuff doing that too. So maybe I should have kept that sheep's head. What now? Nah, I'm good. I like sheep's head, but I've eaten so many sheep's head in the last couple of years. I'm just I'm ready for a different fish. So, all right. let's call it a day. We got some great weather coming, so some different video opportunities, they're headed our way. I'm pumped for those.